It's day 3 of passage, but 5 days overall. Nobody's died yet, so we're doing something right. Very early start here in Gijon, but we're all looking forward to getting on with the journey. Nobody likes sitting around in a port. This town has been absolutely fantastic, very, very friendly. She'll come back here on a visit just for a few more days, you know. Magnificent Lagoon 51 into the fuel dock, so we can set off, get round the headland and start making our way down the Portuguese coast to the Straits of Gibraltar. Good morning, everybody. It's about 3:30 on Tuesday morning. It's day 3 of passage, but 5 days overall. We're just coming round the tip of Cartagena, which is the northern tip of Spain. And once we've passed that, we'll actually head downhill, so to speak, all the way along the coast of Portugal down to on our way to Gibraltar. The sea has calmed dramatically compared to what it was at Biscay. I didn't film Biscay very much. 3 of us were quite ill, unprepared and ill. But at the moment we're motoring. We've got about 13 knots of wind. We're doing 6.5 knots. That's our speed over ground. Hi guys, we're just dropping into Porto quickly for a quick fuel stop because our fuel gauge has stopped working. There's an electrical fault. Coming in at low tide through the breakwater. It's quite impressive. I'll give you a shot. So it's a very quick splash and dash, fill up with diesel so we can calculate how many litres per hour we're using to then onto nautical miles. And then from here it's all the way down to the south. As you can see, I'm up on the fly bridge of the Lagoon 51. This is a brand new boat, left the factory about a month ago. So I'll just give you a pano, and of course some B-roll will be coming up. It's a nice spot. I've spent many a happy afternoon and morning up here drinking coffee, having a bite to eat. There's a nice teak table here. And this one, the owner had actually paid for the enclosure, which I think is a nice option to have when the weather's not so good or it's a little bit chilly in the evening. The stainless steel structure in the corner there, and the one over here on the starboard side, is obviously to help you get up on the hard top cover up here. From the helm position, we haven't got the main up, but if we did, you have two windows either side of the helm to give you a good view of the mainsail, see what it's doing. As you can see there, twin spreader mast. I'll have another look at that from the outside, and it's all outboard rigging, which is typical for Lagoon. You've got a really nice view from the helm station sitting down. There's a bench here which we know is good enough for 3 people to sit on. It's very, very comfortable. Just giving you a pano round. If I'm going too fast, let me know in the comments below. So from a sitting position, your view is actually very, very good. We've been able to dodge lobster pots. And if I give you a bit of a view from here, nice pano round, and you can see that lovely L-shaped chair. And the nice thing with the helm seats is they fold back if you want, so you've got extra seating, or you can elongate the chair there. And I found one evening it was actually quite comfortable to sit on here when the autopilot failed and I had to steer by hand for a couple of hours. It was quite good, nice comfortable position, and it helps elevate you more so you can see both port and starboard bow. This owner chose to have a camera system. I'll show you the cameras later, per aft, so that if you're mooring, especially in the Meds, you can see what's going on behind you. As you can see, we have a large 15-inch Raymarine chart plotter, and it can pretty much do, you know, whatever you want. There's loads of screen options you can change. You can have radar, wind, you know, repeat anything you want. Let's put that back to charts, because there's quite a lot of fishing boats out. Over here you have your Raymarine autopilot, repeater, your Yanmar. You just pop that off, so it's for your engine and everything else. Keep a check on that. This boat has come equipped with bow thruster, and you have your engine start, stop and so on. And at the moment we're just running one engine. We're doing one for 12 hours, and then the other one helps conserve fuel a little bit. But the new engines are due for a service. I think it's about, I don't know, 225 hours. This delivery is mostly being by motor. I'm going to get the sails out in a minute. To my right, starboard, you have a Harken 50 2-speed self-tailing winch and another Harken 50 2-speed self-tailing winch. All your sheets and lines come aft, so as you can see, mainsail halyard, mainsail sheet, reef 1 and topping lifter here, and this is your sheet for your Genoa. And this one's actually got a code 0 or code D. The lines run on the outside and then back up. We'll have a look when we do the tour round, but you've got your gubbins there. Over on the port side, pretty standard VHF compass, These are for the first one here. This is for your Genoa in and out haul, and this is for your Code D. I'm going to go into that in a minute, how I feel on this boat particularly. It's a little bit different on a monohull because your systems are a lot easier to reach, but how I feel about having both electric winches and electric furlers, you know, it is what it is. Reef 2 and 3 are on here, Genoa halyard and your Spinnaker halyard, and once again you have another Harken 50 self-tailing 2-speed winch and your clutch for your Genoa. They've finally gone back to mast forward, so they've got rid of the self-tacking jib, which is brilliant, and you now have Genoa tracks. They're a little bit short as far as I'm concerned, but that's just my opinion, and with the play that we've had with the Genoa, I think they would be better off outboard and a little bit longer. But this is a downwind boat, it's a lagoon, you know, it's meant for the Med or the Bahamas or the Caribbean. If you're buying one, you know, you're not going anywhere fast, but it's a nice space. Not bad at all. Islands of Belingas. Last time I came through here was late July, early August last year on a Halberg Brassey 42E ketch. I'll leave a link at the end of the video or down in the description. Not a lot going on. Dodging lobster pots, which is a lot of fun. Breaks up the boredom. Otherwise, very pleasant motor. We'd like the sail to come round, the wind to come round a lot, which would be, you know, if you guys could pray, I know that you're going to be in a month in advance, we could at least get the Code D out, have some fun. But otherwise we're on track, nobody's died yet, so we're doing something right. Morning everybody, it's at 3:20, 2nd of April. We are just coming up on the Straits of Gibraltar. I'll show you on the screen at the moment, but we're keeping to the side of the separation channel. The only thing we have to worry about really small craft and fishing craft that don't have AIS. But I'll have a look over there, if you can make that out, is mainland Spain, Europe, and over there, if you can see it, probably not, is mainland Africa, Tangier. I apologise, but there's not much I can do about that. We'll start here. Okay, taking a look at the new sugar scoops on the Lagoon 51. There's obviously a really nice bathing ladder now, which they've incorporated, and it can be moved from port and starboard. But as you can see, they've extended the sugar scoops quite extensively, but it's just a moulding that's been put on top of the old sugar scoop. If it was me, I would actually have an extra cleat put on further down there to be able to secure a big ball fender, because it's quite easily actually to have these smashed up against a seawall or a pontoon, something like that. There's a nice hydraulic platform on this one, and the sides, either side, fold out to extend your sugar scoops when you're at anchor, which gives you a nice sort of beach club area, extra bathing, sunbathing area. It's really nice. It's a nice easy place to launch your tender from. This one's a high field, done specifically for Lagoon, and the hydraulic platform will go all the way down into the water. Over here on the starboard side, there's a really nice barbecue, which is an option, supplied by its own gas, and obviously pulling the handle, the barbecue will spin round, so you can cook from your sugar scoop or extra bathing platform if you want to. There's a great space on this sort of aft cockpit terrace area of the Lagoon 51. Really like it, and this is my favourite seat out of all of them. It's nice and deep, gives you a great view all the way through the boat, and over here there's another locker which we've just stored the lines in, just for easier access for when we're coming up to the fuel docks. Thank you Elon Musk for the Wi-Fi. It was absolutely amazing to have Wi-Fi all the way through the delivery. This boat is equipped with two Yamaha 80 horsepower engines. I'm only going to open the port side here. Starboard side is pretty much exactly the same, and it's nice that Lagoon integrated this a couple of years ago, where the hatch actually opens out against the sea. There is loads and loads of space. Sail drive, as you can see, and over in the corner is the hydraulic management system for the platform and power steering, your emergency tiller handle, and the electric remote control for that hydraulic platform. Plenty of air vents and a light. Everything's clearly marked. You have some electronic controls. There's your starter battery, filters, and so on. It's a big engine room, and obviously your steering system here, which is robust, and the power steering ram over in the corner. One thing that's shocking, we'll go into it when we have a look at the generator, is the absolute lack of soundproofing in the engines against the bulkhead cabins. And I didn't get much sleep in my cabin at all when the engine was running because of the noise. Over on the starboard side, you've got your shore power and air con connections, plus a hose connection for shore power. So instead of using water from the tanks, you're using it directly from the taps in the marina. You know, freshwater flush toilets, at the end of the day, they consume a lot of water. And you have hot and cold water deck shower on this side too. It is a big beamy boat. You've got 8.10 meters or 26.7 feet in total, and this is a great entertaining area. There is an option for a drop down table if you want. I don't think it's needed. There's loads of sunbed areas around on this boat. This is a great area too, which when I was in on Biscay, I spent quite a lot of time there, and there are two lockers underneath each seat. You can have extra chairs, and I reckon you sit 6 to 8 people round it more than comfortably. So the large locker, as you can see, we're just storing junk. We're only delivering the boat, so you know there's spare oil, hose pipes, that sort of stuff in there. And over here the wet bar. There's plenty of places for drinks and water bottles, and a handy little pop-up light that comes up, which is quite cool, and you see those quite a lot on the Beneteau style boats and that sort of thing. Nice Corian worktop, draining, and a sink with hot and cold water if you want. On the right hand side of the cabinet you have a nice fridge. I'd say it's a 60-litre fridge with a small freezer compartment at the top. Just lock that off. And over on the left hand side there's a handy ice maker. Obviously all these are options, don't come as standard. The steps that function as your way up onto the flybridge, and I will say that there's a lack of handholds going up to the flybridge, but underneath you have a large voluminous gas locker. The steps stay up on gas rams, so there's no worries about it dropping on your head. I think this space could have been used a little bit better with maybe a shelf put in there for smaller, so you can have 2 smaller bottles. But once again, you know, it's a lagoon, and just by it and by the sliding doors you have a self-draining area, and the sink itself runs directly into that channel and into the sea. So be warned if you're in a marina. All your muck is going to go straight into the water. Obviously the flybridge makes up as the hardtop canopy. As an option you can have a cover enclosure that goes all the way around for bad weather if you want this as an option. This owner went with a Fusion stereo. He has speakers up in the roof here, up in the cockpit, and also in the main saloon area. And with the Fusion stereo you can zone you know, which area you're listening to music. You have your 2 emergency tiller areas underneath the benches here, and diesel port and starboard. Coming forward on the starboard side you have, they are all flush hatches, and there's part of your code D sheets, outboard shrouds, which is normal for a catamaran and a lagoon. They have done better with the handholds on this boat. They've got rid of the rain guttering system, but going up to the flybridge there is a lack of handholds, and I can tell you when the sea starts to get big it is noticeable. So if it was me, more handholds would be better. The lifelines, rails on either side are a reasonable height, and you have access to pontoons or harbour walls, port and starboard. Water and wastewater is further forward on both port and starboard holes, and each of your hatches for the bathrooms, or heads if you want to call them that, have ventilated tops. There is non-slip moulded into all over the deck. I would suggest that when the deck gets damp and salty, I found it personally quite slippery, and that's with my proper boat boots or boat shoes on. So we were washing down the deck a lot. But in the meds, probably not so important, you know, flatter, calmer waters. Here, forward, both port and starboard, you have large opening hatches. They can, as an option, be crew or skipper quarters, but they're absolutely huge, and standing down in there I had plenty of headroom. So if you're 6 foot plus, you'll fit in there. As you can see, we've just got some of the forward deck cushions in them. Really nice dolphin seats forward, or princess seats forward if that's what you want to call them. I prefer dolphin seats because it's where most people go to watch the dolphins. Standard Lagoon trampoline netting. This boat has been fitted out with an electric bowsprit for the Cold Zero, which is an electric furler. Wouldn't be an option I would choose. I'd have the bowsprit, but I would have my furler manual. But that's just my personal choice. And obviously you've got your Genoa furler. You know, it's pretty standard stuff. There's a really nice sitting area for sundowners forward on this boat, with plenty of lockers underneath, loads of cup, beer or water bottle holders. The hatch there on the right is access into the chain locker, and just underneath here gives you access to the windlass. If any of you guys have seen Parlay, I would go and have a look, because on the track where the chain runs they've put rollers, which is a really good idea and stops the chain smashing and digging into that track of the fiberglass that's laid forward. Really good idea to do. The standard Lumar winch, you know, it all works, and you have controls for your windlass actually up on the helm station on the flybridge. Over on the porthole, it's pretty much standard. This locker is exactly the same as on the starboard hull. As I said, you can have it as options as crew quarters or skipper's cabin, something like that. In the first locker here on the port side, this is where we actually stored a load of the extra cushions and fold seats and all our fenders. In this locker there is a water pump system that you can have for either fresh water or salt water for washing down the deck, or the chain and anchor when you put it up. There is loads of space in this forward locker. You can see by the size of the fenders that it's just, it was chock-a-block with stuff. All the hatches forward are watertight sealed, and I say that loosely. And over on the starboard side, this left hand locker, you will find the Onan generator. There is some electrical systems, your batteries for your windlass. There's an exhaust system in here, and obviously your oil filter in the back there. Everything's easy to get to and change, so that's good. Well done, Lagoon. But this generator room has 10 times better soundproofing than the main engine room, which is great. So when you're sitting in the saloon or outside, you don't have to listen to the generator humming away. But I just wish Lagoon had paid the same amount of attention as soundproofing to your engine compartments for the bulkhead that goes to the cabins, as they had done or have done for the generators. As you can see coming forward, the handhold is right there where you need it, but then it's gone. That's it. You've got no more handholds for another 1.5 meters, 2 meters. You just need more. There's discussions of either stopping along the Spanish coast and then crossing to the Balearic Islands, or going straight to the Balearic Islands, Ibiza, Palma, and so on. And then from there, it's basically a right angle to the south of France, which is our final destination. You're going to get a bit of sun glare, but here you go. Everybody, it's 10 o'clock on the 3rd of April. We're motoring. It's nice to see the sun out. We stopped in Cartagena yesterday. We were going to stay overnight, but the weather's good and we want to keep ahead of the weather, so we just fueled up, got a bite to eat, and you know, quick trip to the supermarket for essentials like chocolate. We expect to be in Marseille, France by Thursday morning. We've got around 320, 330 nautical miles to go. Okay guys, we're going to start on the port side, inside of the saloon. I'm going to go down a couple of steps. This is a owner version. So what we're going to do is start over here. This was my cabin, the aft cabin on the delivery. As you can see, I'm packing up all my stuff. It's a bit of a mess, but there's a huge double bed, island bed. I can say it is really, really comfortable. You have reading lights either side. You have a window port light at the back and an opening window ventilation, and the same there. I've got the blinds down, privacy blind, you actually get to see them in use. And there's an opening hatch up here, which is closed off, and a fan in the corner. It's quite nice. Either side of the bed, you've got an area to put a cup, coffee, tea, you know, bottle of water, whatever's your thing. There is a mains plug, 2 USB chargers, and some handy shelves, which is rather nice. The LED lighting is really nice in this boat. Absolutely fantastic. There is a small storage area here. And under the bed there is a drawer that pulls out, all soft close. Behind my main door I have a wardrobe, shelf at the top, hanging space, and access to some electrical bits. And all important, every cabin has a fire extinguisher. Over here you have your, not that we've used it on this trip, controls for air conditioning and heating. And underneath the floor of my particular cabin, I won't lift all the panels, but this boat's actually come equipped with a water maker, and you probably won't be able to see because of the light, but the tubes are at the back and you've got a separation filter there. So storage wasn't a problem. I have my own heads, and the light switch is just underneath here. So electric flush, fresh water, nice Corian worktop, and a nice large shower, and up above ventilation. To give you an idea of head height, you know, loads and loads of height in here. It's a really nice bathroom, nice, well, we're in the marina now, but you know, when we were sailing around, had a nice view out the bathroom, and the mirror slides across to give you Right, we'll come out of here. There is storage in the hallway, and over the next couple of weeks there's actually going to be a washing machine installed in here. There's an option, which is pretty cool. Washer dryer. There is access to the bilge, you know, electric services all underneath the floor. Something that's pretty cool, which they've managed to fit in on this 51. I can find an interior light switch centrally, which I think is brilliant for the kids. There's a little central cabin here. Reading light, 2 reading lights. You have your air conditioning control. Once again, the same setup for drinks, cup of tea. There's a fan. You can get light during the day if you want from the saloon, and there are privacy blinds up here, obviously. And there's a plug, 2 USB sockets, a little bit of storage, and a hanging cupboard here. So it's not bad. Nice little cupboard, nice little bedroom. It's midships, so it's going to move less. It's away from the engine, so there's less noise. And then right in front of me is the forward cabin. Once again, semi-island, double bed, reading lights, fans. Choice of the materials that the owner went for, really quite nice. I know there's going to be a discussion about Lagoon. We're going to get into that. Plug, USB, air conditioning. This pretty much mirrors my cabin. Mine's a little bit larger, but not by much. I actually think there's more floor space in this one. Obviously your shelves. There's access to your own heads through here, which we've got locked at the moment. This cabin and the midships one were shared, so they had access into the heads through here, which once again, electric flush, fresh water flush, same size heads and shower as I have. And there you go. The lighting on this boat's pretty good actually. There we go. Right, this is the steps going up as you would have normally. The only difference is, as the emergency access, you have to remove all the steps to then get to a hatch, to then get to your emergency escape hatch. But there are extra handles on this boat. And this is our saloon. Give you a pano. Obviously everyone's packing their bags. We're cleaning the boat, getting it ready for the owner, and we're all off tomorrow morning. So on the starboard side you have a huge nav desk. It's got towels and things on at the moment, but you know, there's room for paperwork and junk, and a chart plotter with a red light, which is pretty handy when you're on passage. And underneath this towel you have even more storage for, you know, paperwork, whatever it is. This boat, you got extra USB charging here, fusion stereo system, and obviously lights. Light switch there, and then over on this side, mains plug, 2 USB charging, nice handy shelf area, and there's access to electrics behind, and another shelf area here with a steel bar to stop anything coming out. Obviously it's part of the galley now, so you have a large 100-litre freezer, big fridge, and obviously the same underneath. There is storage just in front, which we had all our bottles of water in and sort of stuff like that. See, still full up. And there is another storage bin mirroring that over on that side. You have storage underneath here. That's mirrored on the left. We covered the cushions in sheets because they're cream, lovely cream coloured cushions, and wearing our wet weather gear and stuff like that, and you wouldn't want to drop any food on them. Let's keep them nicely protected for the owner. There's enough. At one time we had 5 of us on board and there was still plenty of room for extra guests. This owner actually went with the option for the drop down table, so that table folds out, you can drop it down and turn it into a huge double bed, day bed if you wish. And underneath the nav station you have a puff chair that can come out, use that as well. Your VHF is underneath, and you have yet more plugs, USB charging, etc. You know how this goes. And then over on the starboard side, excuse the bin liner, it's not the most glamorous walkthrough we've done. Got a large 3 drawers there for the kitchen, and then under sink cupboard, single stainless steel sink, Corian worktop, self-draining, hot and cold water, plus a saltwater tap. Over here you have more storage for bits and pieces, and we had all sorts of junk here. More shelving. You can see where we kept all our coffee and our cups and so on. And there are 2 more cupboards up here. As you can see, we didn't get through all our food. The storage isn't too bad. Coffee machine, kettle, 4-burner gas stove, and oven and grill, so not bad. And wine storage here, which we're going to get stuck into in a minute because the delivery's done, so we can drink. Let's give you a pan out. There is a forward opening window just here on gas struts, which is brilliant. And port and starboard you have little opening port lights, plus a fan on either side, and lagoons, double sliding doors going into the aft cockpit. But obviously people are packing, so it's not at its most glamorous. An enormous queen size walk around bed. You have reading lights, same cup and bed holders. The system for the air conditioning and lights is over there in this cabin, so you can control it from there, and you have another control for it here. There is a large cupboard on this side, fire extinguisher, very important. You have another cupboard with shelves on this side. And there's services behind this section. And then over here, I'm not going to be able to get everything open, it's none of my business. You have, let's see if I can find the other lights in a minute. I do apologise about the dim lighting, but we've been on passage for 2 weeks and just over 1,600 nautical miles. It's been a slow, hard journey into the wind the entire way. There's obviously a drawer under the bed, the same as it was in my cabin. You have storage and access to facilities under the floor. Same here. Same. All the way forward. Nice drawers. 1, 2, 3. And this is a vanity or a desk. If I can show you, have a nice light there. So this would be a vanity or office area with a puff chair underneath. And a little chaise longue, which is, big enough for 2. Huge port light windows. A small opening. Fan up here. fan over the bed. There's an opening hatch above the bed, sorry. You have a small opening hatch here, another opening hatch here. I actually think it's quite interesting doing a tour around the boat when we've been using it. You have your privacy door, slides across, obviously close the world off. You get fed up with the kids or your friends, close that again, and then you won't find a light switch for it. Here we go. You have the owner's walk-in wardrobe, which is very nice. Obviously full of bags. Hey ho, is what it is. Loads of storage. I'll at least get one of these drawers open so you get an idea of the size. Soft closing. You have some nice shelves here, which I think is quite nice, and they actually pull out. 3 of those, and the same mirrored on this side, and then you have a load of drawers either side and hanging space on either side. Come out of here, and then going forward you have the owner's shower, washing area, Jack and Jill sinks, port and starboard. Once again, Corian worktop. The mirror cabinet is pretty much the same. Obviously there's no port light in this one because it's inboard. And then an enormous walk-in shower, which I reckon's big enough for 3 or 4. You have a rain head and a handhold, and above obviously there's an opening hatch. I'm going to go in there because we're cleaning everything, trying to make it nice. A really nice port light here. Storage. Big hanging locker. And before you wonder, the heads, it's in here. So owner's heads, electric flush, fresh water, once again. Ventilation.